Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I want to take some time out today to talk about something that's been in the news a lot lately, and that's the investigation surrounding Ashlee Janae Robinson. So, if you don't know who she is, Ashlee Janae Robinson, better known by Ashlee Janae on Instagram, is a beautiful 31-year-old African American Instagram model and influencer. She's also a self proclaimed divester who was in a relationship with a Caucasian man named Joe McCann. Now, Joe McCann is like a crypto investor. Um, he also is a self proclaimed technologist, and he seems to be pretty wealthy, judging by the pictures I see on Instagram. Well, these two were in a relationship, and in April, they took a trip to a place called Tanzania, where they stopped at a resort. They took pictures, they really enjoyed themselves. Also, while at the resort, they got engaged. He proposed, she said yes. She contacted her family. She told them that, hey mom, I got engaged. She was happy, and that's according to the family. Well, they left this resort that's pictured in the photos to another resort in Zanzibar, which is an archipelago off of Tanzania. Well, at this resort, things turned dark, very dark. One day, I want to say it was April 8th, the hotel guests were complaining about a couple having an argument. And to resolve, the resort separated Joseph McCann and Ashlee Janae Robinson in two different villas, which was about a 10-minute walk apart. Well, whenever they were in separate villas, Ashlee Janae, she asked one of the employees for a cell phone charger to charge her phone. The employee obliged. He gave her a charger. She told the employee to come back in about 10 minutes to retrieve it. Well, the employee took about 20 minutes to retrieve it. And when he went back and tried to get Miss Robinson to open the door, she didn't. So they used an emergency key to enter the villa, and that's where they found her hanging with a belt around her neck, hanging from a wardrobe. They, of course, cut her down, rendered some aid, and transported her to a hospital. From the hospital they sent her to, she was transported to another hospital where they were able to, offer more aid, more resources, more capabilities. And on April 9th, Miss Ashlee Janae Robinson succumbed to her injuries. Now, I want to talk about the incident, a lot of the assumptions that's been going around, and just a lot of misinformation about self-harm, about how resorts conduct business, and just the perception just offered a alternative understanding of what I see. So, I saw the video with her family who did an interview with, I do believe it was Good Morning America or one of those national news networks. And on the news, they were telling the reporter how Mr. Joseph McCann, he took 11 hours to tell them that something was wrong. And when I hear that, a lot of people took off with that and just assumed that he was guilty of some sort. Now, what I do know is whenever they, cut her down and took her to the hospital, they took her to one hospital, and then from that hospital, they transported her to another hospital. I don't know how long that took to get her transported to the proper place. But that could consume a lot of time. Like sometimes that can take over an hour, maybe 2, maybe even 3 hours to get a patient transported. Especially in somewhere like Tanzania or Zanzibar, which is like an island. So she would have to be, I want to say, air lifted, or if she's by boat, it really probably took a long time. Just saying. Also, whenever something like this happens and you are a person that's building a business, your face is very public, you have a reputation to protect, you're going to call your attorney first. And I do believe that that's what took most of the time for Mr. McCann to contact her family. Because during the interview, the parents said he was just giving a bunch of vague statements. Nothing, no details, no specifics, just ambiguity. So I'm going to say that it was probably his attorney's advice on what to say and who to say it to. Because that's mostly, if I'm in his predicament, that's what I would do. I would contact my attorney first. Secondly, that's probably why he hasn't said anything since the incident. Because this attorney is, look, tell her parents this, but after that, stop talking. Just shut your mouth. Let me speak. Let the authorities handle it. Because at this point, if this is the public's opinion of you, there's not much you can say to clear things up. So just let it ride out. And that's what I would do. I mean, how you say it, like you be still, so to speak. And that's kind of what he's doing. I'm almost certain of it. Second thing I want to talk about was the resort itself. A lot of people say that Mr. McCann paid off the resort and that a lot of the employees are covering for him, and he set all this up. Okay, for one, whenever two people who's in the same room or same villa get into an argument, that's the first line of resolution that any resort or any hotel would do, is separation. Put the people in 2 separate rooms, because no one wants to call the police. Resorts are places of relaxation, and nothing makes people more anxious than seeing the police or hearing, commands shouted by a police officer. So I doubt that he set the room separation up. Seriously do. Secondly, I'm pretty sure that the hotel cares more, or the resort cares more about their reputation than getting a few extra bucks from Joseph McCann. If anybody knows anything about hush money, that's usually not a one-time payment. It's usually a continuous payment. And those payments usually don't stay the same all throughout time. They're going to increase. And I don't think Joseph McCann has that much money. According to the videos that I've seen of him, the description of his company, I'm going to assume that he may have some money, maybe like high 6 figures, but as so forth as like $20 million, $50 million, I don't think he has that kind of money, at least not in liquid cash, to be paying hush money. And most of all, the resort is not going to risk its reputation as a safe, fun, relaxing atmosphere just for Joseph McCann and his boo and his baloney. It's not. You have to think about it. These are business people. They have long-term visions and plans and thoughts. If you ruin your reputation and you stop customers from coming there, your business is going down the drain. And that little hush money is not going to do much for you. So, of course, anytime something happens on their premise, that resort is going to have officials investigate it. They're going to have whoever is a wrongdoer arrested and prosecuted. And most of all, they're going to have law enforcement announce that to the masses, letting people know that the resort is now safe for them to travel to again because they want their business. Lastly, I want to talk about self-harm. Now, this is a touchy subject, and I'm going to try to be sensitive, but a lot of what I'm hearing is people saying she was happy, she went on this vacation, she got engaged. Why would she take her life in the midst of this? And I'm here to tell you that a lot of people take their lives on vacation. I want to say there was maybe a few years ago, there was a man who jumped overboard on a cruise ship. There was a woman who also did the same thing. She jumped overboard on a cruise ship. Things like this happen all the time. There's people who jump from balconies when they're shopping at the mall. That's how fragile the mental state can be when when tragedy strikes, so to speak, or when things shift into an unfavorable condition. On top of that, most people who do successfully cancel themselves, they have no history of mental illness. They have no history of previous attempts. Because that's what her family said. She has no history of this type of behavior. And she doesn't have to. Most people who cancel themselves don't have a history of mental illness or attempts. And it is very likely, it is very possible, I'm going to say that, it's very possible that she did take her life, her own life. Because you have to think about it. She goes on this beautiful vacation. She's with this man who she loves, obviously, and who has shown that he loves her. She gets engaged. She's just enjoying herself, like she's been baptized in pleasure, so to speak. And then all of a sudden she gets to this resort, and her and this individual who she's in a relationship with get into a fight. And they could have broken off the engagement during the fight. And now she is alone in a villa, away from her friends, away from her family, on a remote island. That is a recipe for self-harm. It's that seesaw of emotions that really cause a lot of people to flip out. Like I mentioned, she was really high because she's on vacation, she got engaged, and then the very next day she goes down really low. She's broken off her engagement, they're fighting, and she's by herself in a villa on a remote island. That seesaw is what causes a lot of people to lose it. And it's very possible that that's what happened. If you take, if you just think about all the people in your life who have taken their lives in the past, think about the reasons why they did it. And I'm almost certain that at least half of them, or close to half, done so because of some sort of heartbreak. Heartbreak. That's so common for people to hurt themselves because the person they love doesn't want to be with them anymore. And I believe that he broke off the engagement with Ashlee Janae because he's the one who left the villa, not her. So he's the one who wanted to get away. Also, I want to say this about the families of people who have hurt themselves. I understand that it's probably one of the most frustrating things because when a person hurts themselves, it sort of takes away a target for the family's rage. And now the family is now angry because their loved one is no longer here, but they have no place to put that anger. And I empathize with them on that. So that's my take on the whole Ashlee Janae Robinson story. And it's a really sad story because whenever I look at her, she's a beautiful young lady. She's absolutely stunning. And for something like this to rock her world to the point where she felt like there's no point in going on, that's a real tragedy. So that's my thoughts. I'm going to get out of here. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in my next video.